Good afternoon, everybody. In this video presentation, we're going to discuss the Vygotsky. My name is Professor Benny Gruen, and I'm an adjunct professor at Touro University Worldwide in the Bachelor's of Social Work program. Let's jump in. Okay, so who was Lev Vygotsky? So he was born in Belarus, November 17th, which happens to be my birthday, in 1896. No, I'm not that old. He died of tuberculosis on June 11th, 1934. He was only 37 years old. Tragically, his life was cut short. He could have accomplished so much more. He actually was not famous during his lifetime. His writings were stuck behind the Iron Curtain in Russia and only began coming out towards the end of the 20th century. And his ideas became much more recognized. And since then, much prominence has been given to his ideas. Okay, so I always like to ask the question, whenever we have a topic in psychology, why are we studying it? Why does it make a difference practically? So with Vygotsky, his ideas help teachers best teach their students. So for example, one of the ideas that would come out of Vygotsky's theory, which we'll discuss shortly, is that a teacher might pair up one student with a weaker student because the weaker student will be able to learn with the help of the stronger student. Okay, we can read more on the slide, but that's just one idea why Vygotsky's theory is still relevant to us. Okay, another important question that I want to address before we jump into his actual ideas. People very often want to know where they compare Piaget, which we've discussed in the past, his theory of cognitive development, different stages, sensory motor, pre-operational, concrete operational, formal operational, with Vygotsky. So importantly, I picked two differences over here, two important differences. Number one, Piaget explained that a child develops through stages. As a child grows older, they move through the stages and their mind develops, their cognition develops. Vygotsky, on the other hand, said that the development happens through social interactions, meaning through discussions with peers, through conversation, through language. The child learns from other people, and that's how development goes. It's not just aging through a bunch of stages. And number two, another important piece, Piaget had these universal stages. That was one of the critiques against him. They didn't take culture into account. Whereas Vygotsky, he believed that every culture is different, and it's all through social learning and how the child or individual's social interactions and things like that will help the child develop and grow more. Okay, so mostly Vygotsky's famous for his idea of the zone of proximal development, which he coupled together with scaffolding. So what's zone of proximal development? So everybody has things that they're very comfortable, they know how to do. And everybody has things that they cannot do. For example, I'm learning now to speak Japanese. I speak English very well. My Japanese, not so great. I've been learning it for about a year at this point. I have a teacher, I have lessons, and she is helping me learn Japanese. I know I can't speak Chinese at all. So there's this middle ground here that I'm able to speak Japanese with the help of my teacher. The teacher is able to lower herself. She's a native Japanese individual, and she lowers herself to help me. She's my teacher. That middle ground where I'm able to do it with the help of a teacher, that's my zone of proximal development, where I'm able to develop by help of a proxy, by help of someone else. So for a child, that space where the child could accomplish with a little bit of help, that's the zone we want to target. Teachers should target that zone. There's no use working with the child on things he could really do perfectly. There's no use working on things that are way beyond the child's capabilities. Instead, we focus on that zone of proximal development. And the idea of scaffolding, which is basically like, when they do construction in a building, they have a scaffold to help the construction workers climb on and reach up there. It's also for safety. The scaffold is only temporarily there. Scaffolding is the teacher's support or the peer support that helps the child make this accomplishment. It's only temporary. As soon as the child is able to accomplish it on the child's own, on their own, we can remove the scaffolding. And we can also reduce it as it goes on. So these are basically the main ideas that are famous from Vygotsky, this zone of proximal development together with the scaffolding. And like I mentioned a moment ago, his idea that the child develops through learning, through social interactions, through culture, hence it's called the socio-cultural development theory. Okay, and here's my mnemonic. I always like to make mnemonics. That's what we like to do here. So you have a child lifting up his skis and saying, I got skis. That reminds you of the name Vygotsky. And there we have the teacher zapping it with his electric force power from Star Wars. Zap, zap, zap. Because zap can remind us of the zone of proximal development. Think about that the skis got zapped. ZPD, zapped. zone of proximal development. And you can also notice the odd scaffolding taking place going on in this classroom. Strange to have scaffolding in a construction in a classroom, but anyway, that's what did to make the image more memorable. So I got skis, but then they get zapped by the teacher, zone of proximal development, with the scaffolds in the background. Okay, in a nutshell, this was Vygotsky's famous idea. Hope this is clear. See you in the next video. Take care.